Hey everyone, today I'm doing a store tour of a second-hand electronics and appliance store in Tallinn, Estonia called the Komisjonikaubamaja, which means like the commission department store, or they got second-hand stuff. It's refurbished, but this is not a thrift store. This is not a flea market. They've got refurbished stuff up in there. And as I understand, this is the biggest one in the Baltics. You can see on the map there, well, look, the Baltics is not the biggest place, but it's how we roll around here. It's all we got. Now, when I've got a free time during my day, I like to come down here maybe for an hour and look through the store because there's not a lot of secondhand electronics available in Estonia. It's been like 30 years since re-independence, and for the first 10 of those years, people were pretty poor. So there's just not the same amount of old stuff floating around as you might get in America or definitely in Japan. So it's kind of cool to check out the collection that they've got up there. My friend Herki runs the store. Let's go upstairs and check it out. This store is a great way to pass an hour if I've got some free time on any given day. Herki used to have a store right around the corner from where I used to live. That's how I know him. Then he moved to a store across the street, slightly bigger. Then he moved to this big place recently. He's just moved in. He's getting everything arranged. And it's really nice to see all this stuff here. It's kind of cool to walk around, like living some childhood dream of seeing all this cool stuff. There's a lot of boomboxes as you walk in. I think, if you're into boomboxes, like now is the time to buy. They're never gonna be getting cheaper than this in the market. I've got a couple of them, but the belts are okay. And I think the big thing is always the cassette deck and do those rubber and mechanical parts to work in there, because I'm terrible at replacing belts. This is if you've seen the Techmoan video on the Panasonic 55, one of the last good cassette decks, this is an earlier model. This is the 18. It's probably still got a pretty good cassette mechanism up the top there, and it's got that slot loading CD player, which is pretty rare on boomboxes. But yeah, I'm no good at repairing belts. I've got like a Famicom disc system, 2 of those, which I think I was unable to actually repair properly. So where possible, I try and get cassette decks that already have the belts replaced. I'm not real big on vinyl myself. Of all the things, I have a full stereo setup, but they've got some nice vinyl players here. I guess I'm going to get one day. I'm going to need black Sony like the rest of them. These small little CRTs, they're kind of cute. I think they're new. You look on the back there, the sticker says like 2003, so pretty new, just RF, but could be kind of like a nice centerpiece if you want something in your room. And coming down to the VHF, I've got a bunch of VHS here. I want a Sony one here. I'm very confused sometimes what VHS players are the right ones to get. 4-head, 6-head. Get a later model, but then kind of by the very end they weren't quite as good, so there's like a sweet spot, I think, in the middle, particularly for Sony VCRs. And I like this one, how it kind of pulls down there. That was kind of a thing in the mid-90s where we had stuff that flipped out and popped open, and a big chunky jog dial. Now this is the speaker wall. It's kind of cool, like some sort of visual art piece here. Matching speakers, different sorts of speakers. As I've understood, speakers are probably the number one thing that you should look at in your home stereo system. I still have a small pair of speakers. I'm thinking about something larger, but I live in a small apartment, so what am I going to do? Turn this up and blast it for the whole apartment? It's more like something that might come later on when I've got a house. Now, this is a common thing we'll find here, stuff that comes from Russia or the Soviet Union. So this is an old classic retro speaker. Some of this stuff works really well, and sometimes this stuff could just be really cool because it's like old and it's got the Russian Cyrillic writing on it and stuff. And I kind of like just walking around, and it's just rows and rows of systems, mini systems, full stereo systems here. Black is so common. Always, I mean, all my stuff's in black. My stereo is black. I realize my computer's in black. I kind of like it when they switch up and we get different colors, and kind of that didn't come until a little later. I like this. This is super like late 80s. You know, that graphic equalizer. I like that red Kenwood. It's got an iPod connection at the top, the old school. And here we have another Russian item. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's like meant to be like a small stereo system. It's like a cassette deck there. I think there's built-in speakers at the top. Got some audio at the back. So we got some dials. There's a radio. I think that's a cassette. There's a mic in. Joy 7. That was a weird thing in the Soviet Union. They still used to put English writing on a lot of their gear. This is the back wall. Oh, we've got cassette decks, amplifiers, FM tuners. I like looking at this big wall of stuff. It's like my 12-year-old dream. So this is a nice Sony amp here. I've got my one at home, pre-HDMI, but still digital. Cambridge audio. There's a few quite nice, very specific pieces in here. And I was taking a look at this Yamaha one. What's that? Why is there a hole? Is it a speaker? It doesn't say anything. Or is it like a bass? A sub built into the amp? If you're bored at night, you can do that. This is the DCC deck, digital cassette tape, the thing that was kind of competing with minidisc back in the day. It should play regular tapes as well as DCCs. I really want it, but I have no DCCs. I have no way to get it. I mean, I guess I could pay like 80 euros to buy like a bunch of blank DCCs and I just have to record to them. I really want that DCC deck, but I almost have like zero use for it. This is another Soviet Union. I think it's an amp. This one's got all the Cyrillic writing on it. It's got some kind of standard DINs on the back, but I don't know how they're supposed to plug in. That's kind of cool. I think it works as well, but it might be like a collector's piece in your lounge room. And something I wonder, which will it ever be useful again? FM tuners. I know there's still AM, FM radio, so, but it's not like how it used to be. All my presets and my stations. Look, they're not as extinct as a digibox. You know, satellite digiboxes, there's like zero uses for those things anymore. But it's kind of, if you've got a stereo setup, I guess you still want an FM tuner. Now, there is a games collection over here. Nice selection of PS2s here, PS3, there's a PS4. I'm going to come back to those in a moment because I found something very interesting in their boxed items. Now that red Wii, that is hackable in 2021, but is mostly regarded as the red sheep of the Wii family. And Wii's are still quite expensive in Estonia, so I haven't bothered to get one. I might get another one when I'm back in Japan again. The Wii balance board. I've already got two. I've got a nice one that's boxed, and I've got one that I kind of want to hack up and see what I can do with that a little bit later on, like with the sensors and the, you know, what good, what use, what interesting thing can we make of a Wii balance board in 2021? That's one project that I have coming up for the channel. 360 Connect, is anyone ever going to want to do that again, I think? So nice little collection of PlayStation 2 games now. I mean, the biggest selling console of all time, there's going to be a lot of games out there in the wild. And a lot of steering wheels. I don't have a steering wheel. I think I wouldn't use that much, but I would love a setup. It's one of those things, you'd love it if you had the room, right? Like a full arcade setup. I do want to play virtual racing. And I found this box here of old cables, which is just something I pulled out. But what I wanted to show you were these little composite to SCART adapters, but branded Xbox 360. I didn't know that was a thing back in the day. And this one I missed earlier. This is the HD DVD add-on for the Xbox 360. So not to play Blu-rays, the competitor to Blu-rays was the HD DVD. And there was a drive for the Xbox 360 It's not that expensive these days. I think I should go back and pick it up. But again, I don't have any HD DVDs to play. Where am I getting a HD DVD? But I want it. Now this is spotted in the middle here, notwithstanding the old PlayStation 2, but the screen. This is one of those add-on screens for a slim PlayStation 2. We'll put that to the side. And it plugs in the back. It goes in the multi-out. Has that weird serial port at the back. I don't know what that's for. Transfers power, transfers through the multi-out. Joytech is the name of it. And you get a little portable screen on the back of your PS2. And it works. Now, I'm going to see maybe Herki will let me borrow this and I can do an extra video on it. Can we lag test it? Is it only doing 480i? Will it do 480p? I'm not totally into those things myself, but I think they're really popular out there on the internet. And finally, winding down this video, phones. It's a museum of phones out the back here. This has to be, I don't know, one day these are going to be super nostalgic. That's the phone. I had that phone. That exact one. I'm sure, like, we all had that Nokia one, like 2000, something like this. We all had these Nokias. We got them on a contract. Oh my God, it's so fancy. And think about everyone had one of those things back then. There are so many of those things out in the wild. I don't know what you can really use them for. Maybe you can turn them on. They're probably only using a 2G network. I had that. That was my first keyboard. I've got super nostalgia because that Nokia, that was weighty. That metal. This is the kind of the last hurrah of Nokia days, the flip down phone. It looks a little bit like an N-Gage. I didn't see any N-Gages here, but it's like, you can imagine it came from the same design team. Nokia's flip out phones. We had to have a little keyboard back then. So that's the store tour today. Komisjonikaubamaja here in Tallinn, Estonia. Thanks to Herki for letting me do it's my first store video, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just walking around, I'm filming things. Now I'm doing a voiceover later on, so thanks for letting me come in and look around your cool store. I'll put the links to the website below. If you want any of those items, I know you can contact them directly. They do ship. If you're interested in that screen, maybe you want to contact them and talk about some shipping options. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching my first store tour video. I'll see you next time.